What is up, people? This is Abraham Walker. This is Where to Live in Northern Virginia. I wanted to jump on, and do a quick live video to kind of talk to you about the state of the market. I think there are some changes coming our way, and I want to make sure that we talk about this on this channel, prepare you for it now, so you can get ready if you're looking to buy a home. And one of the reasons why this topic about buying a home and also the competitive nature of this current market is an interesting topic is because, several of my clients right now, they have homes they want to sell, they want to buy an existing home, but, the market is so tight right now that they're afraid to sell their houses or even afraid to put in offers, or the offers they're putting in, some of them are not being accepted. And it's just a very stressful time right now in real estate in general, right? So some people may look at this as, sellers are getting the prices that they want. But you got to realize, if a seller is getting the price that they want and they're not dying, right? If they're not dead, then that means that seller has to go and enter into that same market that they also benefited. So the title of this video is The Real Estate Market is Softening. And one thing I've been preparing my clients for, and I want to prepare you for it as well if you're watching this video, is that we're starting to see in certain price ranges, and I feel like this trend is going to continue. We're starting to see the market softening because on my end, I'm showing properties. Usually I show properties to my clients, from Thursday to Sunday. And typically the real estate agents that I'm interacting with, as far as the listing agents, when I'm representing buyers, the real estate agents are usually non-responsive. They are a little cocky, a little arrogant because they're receiving so many offers. Well, I told my clients this. We've seen such an increase, such an influx of properties being sold, both in December. In December, we had record sales. In November, we also had record sales. In January, we also had record sales. In February, it started to look a little normal, but it was still a record month. Where are those buyers coming from? And one of my thesis is that, and we saw this, if you've been in real estate long enough, you've kind of seen some of this stuff play out. So back in the first recession, or not the first recession, but the recession of 05, 06, 07, when there was a stimulus package passed where there was a first-time home buyer tax credit. Well, that first-time home buyer tax credit stimulated the economy, and there were more sales in a given period of time once that credit was enacted than the previous year. Well, some people thought that, the sales would continue down that path. But that's not what happened. What actually happened was we started to see less sales after the first-time home buyer tax credit ended, because essentially what happened is we moved transactions from one period of time to another period of time. And I've been telling my clients this because I want to make sure that they stay motivated, that they stay active, they stay ready to jump on these opportunities. And I think we're starting to see it now, because just this last weekend, I've started to notice where listing agents are actually starting to reach out to me, because I am working with, I have a lot of buyers at this time. Real estate agents, listing agents, especially individuals who represent the seller, are starting to reach out to me like, hey, what your clients think, how do y'all think about what do you think about the property? Is there anything that we need to do to spruce up the property? And I kid you not, I've been having this conversation with my clients that we're going to start to see homes start to, quote unquote, sit on the market, but really they're not going to be sitting that long. But this is the problem. The problem is real estate agents in general, right? Real estate agents in general are emotional sellers, right? They sell people on their emotions, right? So if you think about, like, most listings are renovated, a large percentage of listings are renovated because listing agents sell their clients on the idea that you should renovate your property, you should stage your property, you should paint your property, you should update the kitchen, you should update the bathrooms, all that other jazz. There's no statistical evidence that really shows that you're going to make that money back. But this is an emotional play. So because we know that we have these individuals who are representing a large proportion of the market, that are emotional, that means that a lot of listing agents told their clients, hey, look, we're going to have you under contract in the first weekend. We're going to have you under contract in the first 24 hours, 36 hours. Don't get me wrong. I just sold a house last week. We only were on the market for 48 hours, right? We got six offers, all of them over asking price. But I didn't tell my client. I didn't tell my clients not one time. I said, hey, I have no idea what's going to happen. So yes, we're going to prepare ourselves for success. We're going to come on at a very high price, but we don't know what's going to happen. So let's wait and see. Most real estate agents do not talk like that. Most listing agents specifically do not talk like that, because a lot of these agents, they're selling their clients on emotions, right? They're selling their clients on the fear of missing out. Like, you got to get your house on the market at this certain time. Like, you have to do this update. You have to do all these things. Well, now we're starting to see, especially because I have a couple clients that are in that 900,000 plus price range, which I get. A lot of people aren't in that price range, right? I understand. But this is going to start to trickle throughout the rest of the market. And kid you not, this past weekend, on a couple of occasions, I've had listing agents reaching out to me because they did not receive offers on the first day. What does this mean for you, though, right? What does this mean for you? This means that if you're a buyer and you have a budget that you have a budget that you can't necessarily compete with some of these offers right now, right? Like one of my clients a couple weeks ago got beat out of the property that they were putting an offer on by $62,000, right? Another time they got beat out by, I think, like 80 something thousand dollars. Like how do you compete with those type of offers? Well, you know what you do? You wait for all those people to use all their money. You wait for the individuals who have their large savings accounts, right? You wait for the individuals who are tapping into their investment accounts. You wait for the individuals who are tapping into their retirement accounts. You wait for those individuals to exhaust their funds. You wait for those individuals to let them buy all the houses, right? Let them buy the houses at this very time. We don't have an infinite number of these individuals. And so now we're starting to see opportunities where, kid you not, I showed a property today. It was $900,000, right, to another client. And this property is on the market 6 days. My client sends me a text message, say, Abraham, this can't be right? Like, this property is still on the market. Check to see if it's sold. And I called the agent up. Hey, look, is this property still available? The agent said, yes, it is still available. Please, let us know what you think about the property. You see, they're being more cordial. I kid you not. In February and January, when we were showing properties to some of our clients, these listing agents weren't even calling us back. They just were, they were acting like people who had a lot of opportunity. And now, all right, since we've had record-breaking sales several months in a row, those sales had to come from somewhere. And they came from the future, right? They came from the fact that some people bought properties and their lease wasn't up yet, so they just made the move right now. Some people bought properties and they're not even in this area yet, right? They bought sight unseen, right? We have a client under contract right now, sight unseen. We have a client right now under contract on a new build, right? Like, they're buying properties for our future use. They're buying properties right now where people are giving sellers 30 days, 60 days, 90-day rent backs, right? That's where you allow the owner of the property to stay in the property for a given period of time. And I got to let you know, as the market softened, right? As the market softened and these sellers who have come on the market at higher prices, right? Because you got to remember, their listing agents have told them, hey, I can get you anything, right? Like, these buyers are hungry for these properties. They're going to pay you anything. They're going to let you stay in your property forever without having to pay for it. And now we're starting to see. Now, this is in the higher price range, right? So not necessarily luxury. I wouldn't say that 900,000 to $1 million is luxury in our market, but we are starting to see it. And that means that if you are buying a home in Northern Virginia, now is the time for you to start monitoring the market. And this is what you want to look for. This is what I'm prepping my clients for. And I want to prep you for this too. in your search in the MLS, right? You're not going to really be able to do this on like Zillow or even Redfin or these other web portals because they don't have the fine tooth um, segment of the data that you need. But you probably are on some type of portal access through the MLS through some real estate agent. You should be. If you're not, click the link in the description below and we can get you on one, right? So this is what you're looking for in the MLS. You're looking for properties that have been on the market for 8 days or longer. 8 days. And this is why 8 days is important. You see, you want to start searching for properties that have been on the market for a full week. And the reason why is because we know that listing agents, real estate agents, are telling their clients that they're going to sell the property like that. It's gonna go like that. And that means that if this property did not sell in that week, in that first week, in those first 24 hours, 48 hours, 36 hours, whatever these agents are telling their clients, then that means that that seller is starting to doubt their agent, right? And they're also starting to doubt their ability to move on with their life, right? Because you got to remember, once you start to sell your house, you're really a prisoner inside the house because you have it either staged or you have all your clothing somewhere else or you have the house impeccably cleaned. When I just got to be honest with you, most people do not live a cleaned house lifestyle. They get it ready for guests, right? It's never, most people don't have their houses guest ready. So this is going to be a huge opportunity for individuals who are still in the market. They are still diligent about checking their portals, checking their listings, but you're looking for, remember, homes that have been on the market 8 days or more. The next thing you're looking for in the MLS, right? And I'm not sure how this works on the other portals because I'm a real estate agent, so I have access to the MLS. I'm sorry. You're also looking for homes. You're also looking for homes that come back on the market maybe within 10 to 15 days. These are homes that have failed inspections, right? Because you got to remember, if homes start to take a little bit longer to sell, then that means that sellers are no longer going to get offers where buyers remove the home inspection. They're no longer going to get offers where buyers remove the appraisal, the financing contingency, start to pay over asking price. So that means that some of these homes are actually going to be inspected. And kid you not, I know because I'm in some of these real estate groups, some of these sellers are putting their houses on the market in horrible condition, because they know people are buying like crazy. I have a client, kid you not, I have a client right now. We're under contract on a property in Kingstowne. I live in Kingstowne, one of the best places to live in Northern Virginia, I believe, right? So I have a client right now under contract on a property in Kingstowne. They're renting a unit in the Kingstowne area as well. The property manager for their unit put their house on the market to be sold. Somebody bought this house. Can you hear me? Yeah. Somebody bought this house sight unseen, a little bit under asking price, and the asking price was astronomical. All cash. And this house is in horrible condition. Horrible. But he bought the house in January, right? Like in January, you did that kind of stuff. People were doing some insane stuff. I even had to talk some of my clients out of doing crazy things because I was like, hey, look, how long can this really last, right? If you wind up spending, don't get me wrong, some people right now have a lot of savings, right? And some people, you had a whole year in the pandemic where you didn't go out to eat or you didn't go on a vacation or you're no longer buying clothes, right? A lot of people right now have really thick bank accounts, right? Because they weren't spending that much money during these past year. So they're just really just using that savings to buy these homes. But if you start to dip into your retirement account, if you start dipping into your savings account, that's going to hurt you in the long run, right? So one of the conversations I'm having with my clients right now is, what, maybe you rent for another year, right? You rent for another year, save up some more money, and just see how this all plays out. Because you don't want to put yourself in a position. This is no longer really about house poor too, because you hear that where people say, you don't want to be house poor, where you buy more than you could afford. That's not necessarily the issue. The issue right now we have is if you jump, if you remove a lot of money from your savings account, or not even your savings account, really. I'm starting to see more people, and loan officers are starting to kind of influence people in this philosophy that they're actually saying, hey, why don't you just go into your 401k, right, or your retirement account, right? So let's say you move that money out of the that account that's currently earning whatever it's earning, and you move it into the housing market for this uncertainty, this play on uncertainty, right? Unless you're gun-ho about living in the area for 10, 11, 15 years, right? Some people are. If you're in that category where you are thinking about living in this area that long, then hey, I think that you may have the opportunity to make that money back, right? But again, I just talked to somebody last week who's moving here from out of the country, and they're only going to be in the area 3 years, right? And I had to explain to them. I said, hey, look, I know that home ownership is important to you. You've never owned a home before. There's some parts of society that make you feel bad for not owning a home. But if you buy a house right now, you should be looking to keep it for at least 11 years, right? At least 11 years. And since you're only going to be here 3 years, think about it like this. In most of Northern Virginia, most people don't really realize this because they're not looking at the numbers. In most of Northern Virginia, if you don't put 20, 30, maybe 40% down in some cases, you're not breaking even on a rental, right? So if you rented your property out and use it as for investment purposes. So that means that a lot of these individuals, especially my military people, man, I feel for those individuals. These military individuals, if they're not, when I'm talking to my military people, I ask them, I say, hey, are you retiring while you're here? If you're retiring while you're here, then you know what? Then okay, making the move and purchasing isn't as risky. But if you're only going to be here 3 years, oh my goodness, like you're not going to be it's possible that you're going to be paying 400, 500, $600 a month just to break even on this rental if you kept it as a rental, right? So be smart, and also look at this move as a long-term commitment, right? One thing on my channel, I'll never try to just make the quick buck, right? That's not my goal. That's not my focus. I want to make sure that you're educated, you're informed, so you can make the best decision. If you have 10 years to be in this, then you're good, right? Like no matter what you pay for the property too, because there is a certain quality of life that comes to controlling where you live, right? Controlling the asset, knowing that nobody could kick you out, knowing that your landlord can't, for my military clients, or for the individuals who are renting property that are owned by individuals who are in the military, you know, I hear every year a couple stories where people are kicked out of their rentals because the individual moves back from the military. They move back into the area and they want their house back, or the landlord decides to sell earlier than they anticipated, right? So there is some peace of mind that you purchase with the property. So it's not just strictly an investment. But if you're leaving in 3 years, right, 4 years, you got to start thinking to yourself, right? You got to start thinking, you know what? This is risky. And now if you gamble, this is roll the dice. This is it. This is your time. This is your time. Because you got to be honest with you. Nobody knows what's going to happen. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. So you just have to mitigate your risk. If you're a risky type of individual, you like risk, right? You live on the edge of life. This is your time to shine. Go at it. Go at it. I want to tell you one story, and then I'm gonna answer the questions from the live chat. Oh, well, let's talk to the live chat right now. I just bought in Fredericksburg area. Northern Virginia is just too high and expensive. Yeah. Well, how do you like the Fredericksburg area? One of the things that we talk to our clients about, like moving further away from the core of the area, and I'm a big quality of life individual, right? So if you've ever spoken to me on the phone or in one of my perfect home consultations or questionnaires, you know that I'm a quality of life individual. If you have to drive an hour and a half one way to get to work, we have to really reconsider the value of home ownership, right? Like, don't get me wrong. Your friends are buying a house, your neighbors are buying a house, your everybody's buying a house, right? But at the end of the day, if you're spending, a large percentage of your week in a car, driving is dangerous, right? Driving is not something that should be taken lightly, right? So I'm a big quality of life individual. If you work near the Fredericksburg area, maybe you work in Quantico or something like that, then that's a great move for you. But I got to be honest with you, when I'm talking to clients and they tell me that they're interested in Stafford, they're interested in Fredericksburg, they're interested in Dumfries, and they live in DC, the first thing I tell them, I say, hey, look, before we make this move, I want you to get up in the morning and I want you to make the commute from those areas like you're going to work a couple of days, right? I just want you to do it a couple of days so you can at least see what this time commitment is, right? Because I got to, some of these people are in a car for an hour, hour and a half, and they don't get me wrong, people say, I don't mind the commute. And don't get me wrong, I don't think that they're not lying. I think that you justify your reasons, right, for doing something, right? You do something emotionally, and then you back it up with logic. That's how humans operate. So if you live in Fredericksburg, if you love your home, I hope you love the where you live. I hope your neighbors are wonderful. But on my end, I live in Kingstowne, which is in like almost the southern part of Fairfax County. So a lot of my clients either are looking at Fairfax County, maybe they're looking to go a little bit further west if they're looking to get a bigger house, or maybe they're retiring and they're looking to go a little bit further north to get closer to work. So I'm glad to see you like the Fredericksburg area. And okay, great. You plan on staying for 10 years, Aries Fire. That's good to hear too. Yes, 10 years, it should be your minimum commitment, right, for staying in a home right now. And another thing to consider. So I'm gonna tell you another quick story. So last week I showed a property. Again, I know that these numbers they're not the normal number, right? I understand that, but it's still an example. So last week I'm showing a property. It's $1.3 million, and it's a beautiful home. And my client said, we're interested in, possibly exploring making an offer. So what we do on our end is we do some research to make sure that the comps support and the comps are what other properties have sold in the area, just to make sure that everything is on an up and up for our client, right? So kid you not, I'm doing my research on this property. The owners of this property bought this home in 2006 for $1.35 million. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. They bought it for $1.35 million, and they're selling it. And they may sell it because it's still in the market. They may sell it 17 years later for less than what they purchased it for. That is the risk associated with buying properties in an up market. You have to take into consideration the risk. Now, are these people still doing okay? Yes. After 16 years of paying down that mortgage, they still have a lovely savings account. They got to secure the house of possibly their dream. It's in a great location, right? There's all these other benefits besides your home appreciating that you get out of the property. And you buy it at $1.35 million, and then 17 years later, you sell it for $1.3 million. We don't hear enough of those stories. We don't, because you got to remember, so many people make money off of real estate that it's not in the best interest of these businesses or entities or real estate agents or local economies or the government to really tell people the true risk associated with buying real estate. And even if we did tell you, you know what, to be honest with you, humans are going to do what humans want to do. You are. Another quick aside. One thing that I let my clients know is that they have two options when they're working with me. One of the options they have is I can I can just help them acquire the asset, or I can just help them sell their home. Right? That's all I'll do. That's all I do. The other option is that I take my 12 years of being in business. I try to assist them and guiding them through the process to make the best decision. Those are two different services, right? Some people just want me to get the house that they want, shut the hell up, going about my life. You know, some people want that, right? And I got to be honest with you, right now in this market, some buyers they want that. Some buyers want that. Some buyers don't want their agent to tell them the truth about real estate because some people are buying houses for their friends, buying houses because of their friends, right? Because of peer pressure, right? They're buying houses because their parents have told them all these negative things about people who don't own houses, right? They have all these negative things that they say about themselves, about other people. So again, I wanted to just let you know the market is softening. That's what I want. That's what the purpose of this video is. I know we're going a little bit longer than I anticipated, but I feel there's some questions. You just have to know, right? You just have to know if you're buying in this market right now, you're going to be looking for homes that have been on the market 8 days. Remember that 8 days. Put it into your MLS search. If you do not have an MLS search set up right now, just let me know in the perfect home questionnaire and we'll set you up on one. You're looking for 8 days on the market because that means that the homes have been on the market for a complete week. And that is when sellers in this market are going to start panicking. They're going to start panicking. I know they are. I know they are. They're going to start panicking because they've been told. They've been told by not only their real estate agent, but also the media that homes are selling quickly. Homes are selling quickly. Your home will sell quickly too. You're going to get a boatload of money, right? People are just going to bring cash to the table and everything else. And that's just not happening. I put a house under contract with a client just last week. Yep, last week, put another one under contract. This is like 3 or 4 weeks in a row now. I'm telling you, the homes are starting to sit. And when they start to sit, this is when the opportunity hits. Opportunity hits. All right, let's field some more questions and then we can jump off. Especially if the housing price is correct due to increased interest rate. You're right. Increased interest rates is it's going to be will increased interest rates affect home prices? I don't know. I don't know because you got to think that in Northern Virginia, we haven't had a quote unquote balanced market for several years, almost a decade. Really, it's been a while since we've had at least 6 months of inventory. In Northern Virginia, we just don't get to a balanced market. So even if interest rates hiked up, right? Like even the interest rates increase, I don't know. I can't say that demand will decrease enough for home prices to be affected. I can't say that because, like I said, we just don't have enough inventory to support our current market. I mean, even if there's this theory right now that there's so many foreclosures in the waiting, or there's so many people in forbearance that are just waiting to lose their homes. Even if those people lost their homes, there is still so much demand for inventory in Northern Virginia. Now, one thing that really sets our market apart than other markets is that we're in a high cost of living area, but we're also in a high salary or high income earning area as well. And this area is usually most professionals' second stop. This isn't the first stop. It's rare to see somebody come directly from college and move straight to the Northern Virginia area. Usually what people are doing is they'll work in maybe their hometown, or maybe they'll work in some other part of America. They'll do very well in that area as far as in the company or in life. And then they'll move to Northern Virginia to pursue more opportunities, right? So that means that a lot of people in Northern Virginia are financially sound. They've made great decisions just in life. So those individuals could still buy a house. I mean, I would say that the apartment complexes that are in Northern Virginia are filled with people who could just buy a house, but they just choose not to. They just choose not to, right? Let's see what else. Adele. G says the Fed set interest rates to 0% for how many years? That inflates the price of assets like mortgages and stocks. Okay, that's another great point that interest rates are artificially low right now. But the Feds now know that they could manipulate the market. Why should we believe? And also it happened through two administrations, right? So we went through a Democratic administration, which kind of started this whole process, and then we went through a Republican administration, which continued the process. Now we're back in a Democratic administration, which is continuing the same process. That's enough evidence to support the theory that politicians in general like the ability right now to have some control over the market. Why would they give up that control? It makes no sense. If they can manipulate the market and ensure that a crash doesn't happen, then I don't know what's to stop the government from going to negative interest rates, right? Or just maintaining the 0% interest rate that we have right now. I don't see a reason for that to occur, right? Given the fact that the politicians already have the power and they also know that it's working, right? It is their manipulation of the market is working. Stock markets are on a run, real estate assets on a run. So yeah, so why would they stop? All right, last thing, or the last comment is Fairfax County is my favorite. I just don't like those older homes, especially those built before 1980s. Well, there's different parts of Fairfax County that you can stay in. I would just say that, one of the things that we recommend people do is actually get specific on the neighborhood you want to stay in. First thing we tell our clients is, or during our consultation is, hey, let's draw a wide map, right? A wide circle around these different areas, right? And then as we see properties, we want to start to eliminate areas, not necessarily gravitate towards them, right? We want to use the process of elimination to determine where we want to live. This same process can work for you. If you don't like the homes in the 19 that are built before the 1980s, just take them all off the map, right? Take them all off the map. Maybe this is what you could do. Adele, this is what you could do. In the MLS, I want you to search for previous sales for the last year, right? That are for homes that are in your price range, that were built after 1980s, right? And then I want you to go through those previous sales with the photos and everything else. And then I want you to determine which homes you believe you like the most. After you find out the homes that you believe you like the most, I want you to then start to pinpoint. You can either drive through the area or you could just draw a polygon search using the MLS, or, I want you to start to stake out those properties, right? And not just stake them out though, market to those individuals who live in houses that you would buy. Let them know we've had great success with targeting homeowners and letting them know, hey, look, I have a client who would buy your house. Are you looking to sell? People like that message. People love certainty when it comes to that regard. And also, one thing you may be thinking about is, Abraham, do those old practices really work? Yes, they do work. This is the reason why this incentive, this works for the seller, right? Because you may be thinking to yourself, you know what? A lot of sellers just want to go in the market and have the bidding wars, right? Okay, great. So that is one of the things that's taken off the table. But, and this is a big one, one thing that sellers get from you approaching them about buying their home in its current condition is that they don't have to get it ready. A lot of people don't understand, especially if you never sold a house, that selling a house is a process. It's not something you just wake up one day and say, you know what? I want to sell my house. And then the next day there's a sign in the yard. No. It's a whole process. It's a whole ordeal. Very stressful too. It's a very stressful process because the house you live in is different from the house you sell. Because when you sell your house, it becomes a product. Most people have never sold things, especially in our market, right? Our market is much more of a knowledge worker environment. So a lot of these individuals are academics who went into the business sector and they perform very well. So selling isn't a natural skill. So they need assistance to get their homes in a sellable condition. If you approach that individual and said, hey, look, you don't even have to get your house in a sellable condition. I will buy your house as if, because it has to be an incentive for the seller, right? For them to take your offer, I will buy your home in its current condition at current market value, right? This incentivizes you a couple ways, right? For the seller, right? Because you got to pitch it to them. This incentivizes you because you don't have to get your home ready. So you can just live in your house. And then you know what? When you're ready to pack up, just get the hell out of here. Now, you can even say, you know what? You don't have to clean the house. Don't clean the house. Leave it the way it is. Just get on out there and enjoy yourself, right? You want to incentivize them. Next up, they don't have to pay a listing agent, right? They don't have to pay a listing agent. If you go there with your buyer's agent, because most likely it's going to be your buyer's agent doing all the legwork anyway. You're going to go there with your buyer's agent. Your buyer's agent is going to make their percentage of the commission just service half the transaction. The seller now saves half that commission. You and Adele, don't get greedy. Don't try to save what the seller is trying to save, right? Let them keep whatever they're saving so that you can get the house. The goal is to get the house. Because if you got it on the market, on the regular market, you would have to pay the premium anyway. Yeah, and that's it. So Adele, like I said, go into the MLS, do a search of the past sales for the last year in your price range. Look through those photos, get to know this area, and then find a geographic location that resonates with you, maybe a couple, and then start to target those sellers and let them know, hey, look, I would buy your house if you would sell it. And kid you not, people resonate with that idea. They will come out and say, you know what, make me an offer. Let me know what you think, right? All right, so that's it for me. Like I said, I just want to jump on here, express the idea that the market is softening. This is good news because remember, the market softening isn't just good news for people who are buying homes. The market is softening is also good news for people who are selling homes. But remember, people who are selling home, if they're not dead, they have to go move somewhere. And if they're moving somewhere and they see the market is tight, if they see the market is competitive, they're not going to move. That's why we're starting to see less inventory, right? People would love to get out there and make all this goo gobs of money, but they can't, right? Because they still have to go and buy in the same market, right? One of my clients says, and I'm pretty sure she didn't make this up, but she said, you can't burn both ends of the candle, right? Like you have to choose, if you sell, then you are going to make a nice chunk of money right now, but then you're going to have to give that money back to the market when you go and buy. So that's it. Stay diligent, stay with it, right? Look for those properties that have been on the market 8 days or more. Look for those properties that have been relisted because they failed home inspections, they failed the financing contingencies, right? They failed the appraisal. Look for those opportunities. Look for your opportunities. Stay diligent, right? If you stay focused, right, you'll get what you want, which is a home. You may not get it when you want it, right? The timing may not work for you, but stay with it. Okay. If you have any questions for me, you can leave them in the comment section. If you are ready to take the next step and start the home buying process or even start the home selling process, I have a perfect home questionnaire. You can click the link in the description. You'll answer a couple questions about like your current, what's the word? Your current situation. And then we'll schedule a time to jump on a Zoom session where I'll answer any questions you may have. We'll also start to talk about the state of the market. We'll talk about just like what you can expect, given your current circumstance, because some people's circumstance isn't the same, right? Like if you're an FHA buyer right now, it's hard for you, if you're an FHA buyer, because listing agents right now are telling their clients negative things about the FHA product. And to be honest with you, some of this stuff is true. Because in an FHA, with an FHA loan, you have the mandatory clause that states that information about the appraisal, right? I don't want to get too deep into it because it's not that video, but it's challenging for you. So you want to look for these opportunities, right? You may not, and we're having conversations with clients like this. you may not want to look at houses as soon as they come on the market, right? If it's a really attractive house, let's see if it makes it to that 8-day mark. If it makes it to that 8-day mark, then let's pounce, pounce. That's it for me. Thank you for watching. If you liked this session, this is my first time really jumping on and just doing a rant like video with no script or prepared notes. If you like this, let me know in the comment section. I'll be sure to put more pieces like this together for you. I enjoyed it. I had a great time. I'm thankful for the comments in the comment section. I hope Aries Fire 0414 enjoys her home in Fredericksburg. I hope Adele G finally secures his home that's newer than 1980s in Fairfax as well. That's it for me. Enjoy yourself. Be safe. Peace.